The fourth principle, and one that I'm very committed to, is constant and never-ending improvement. So what are some areas, and I'm asking the question to all of you once again, what are some areas that you need to improve upon? I mean, for me, I've got to learn to be more patient. I tell you, when I want something to happen, I wanted it to happen yesterday. Now, Nehemiah here has done a little bit of work for me, and he probably can attest to that a little bit. But I am very impatient, but that's an area I need to improve upon. What are some areas you all need to improve upon? So nobody here has anything they need to improve upon? Oh, no, well, I need to sit down, and I'd rather you get up here and talk so that I can listen to what your principles are. But, Janet?
I would say patience as well as speaking in front of people.
Patience and speaking in front of people. What about you, Brian?
Being more assertive.
Being more assertive. That's a good one. What about you?
Organization.
Organization.
Coach time.
Spending less money.
Spending less money. That's the one I talk about all the time. We in America, we overspend and undersave. We are the best at that. So everybody has something that you need to work on, and if you don't have this listed out, you should. You should have a list of the areas that you need to improve upon, and you should study that list at least once a week. I do mine, and I look at those areas that I need to improve upon, and I try to come up with some concrete goals and action steps throughout the week to help myself improve on it. Now, the patience thing, I've been working on that for 28 years, so hopefully I'm going to get that one together one day.
Be patient.
Yeah. That's a good one. But this principle of constant and never-ending improvement, it becomes a commitment to constantly wanting to learn, grow, and develop. And if you want to remain competitive in whatever industry that you may be in, or if you just really want to be a great friend, if you want to be a great mother, a great father, you have to have that desire to constantly learn, grow, and develop your abilities. Now, I've been able to achieve a lot of things in my life in a very short period of time. And I was actually speaking with a gentleman I met with. He was a business owner. And I told him, I said, you know, he was asking me a bunch of questions about how he should run his business. And I was trying to ask him a bunch of questions because I actually wanted to meet with him so I could learn more about how to run my business. And that's me. I mean, some people see me, or they may hear me on the radio, or they meet with me in a meeting, and they get the impression from me that I may know everything, or I'm not trying to learn anything new. No, I'm constantly trying to learn something new. I constantly feel like everybody has something superior to offer me. And that's a very unique way to approach people. You approach everyone as if they are superior to you and that they can give something to you. That you can learn something from anyone that you met. Now, I learned this because when I lived in East Winston on Liberty Street, we had crack addicts and winos all over the place. These were my friends. Why some of, my child, I look at my daughter sometimes, I'm so happy for her because she's running around in the yard and she can play with kids. I play with crack addicts and winos because that was what hung out outside of my house. That was the element that we had. Now, my grandmother had a choice right there. She could have chose to tell me to stay away from those people, don't talk to them, they may do something to you. She didn't teach me that. She taught me that those were real people. That at one point in time, they may have owned a business, or they may have ran a company. You don't have any idea. She taught me to be a friend to even the wino and the crack addict. She taught me to approach winos and crack addicts as if they were superior than me because I could learn something from them. So I took that with me. And every day, I mean, no matter if I'm walking up to somebody that runs a company or somebody that just works at Walmart, I really truly believe it's some kind of value I can extract from who that person is. And successful people, they commit to this. And anyone who has obtained any level of success can attest to everything that I just told you. We constantly see sweeping changes in technology, industries, and economy like we talked about. So this commitment to constant and never-ending improvement, that almost becomes essential to just survival. If you're not constantly improving, I don't think you can necessarily survive in the world that we have today. Now, successful people, they don't want to just survive. I don't want to just survive. I want to thrive. I want to thrive. And all of you out here that are successful, you should want the same thing as well. You should want to thrive. So it takes a really dedicated approach to constant and never-ending improvement. You have to be extremely dedicated to that. Now, why does some of us not commit to this? Because we get frustrated because of the time it takes to improve. It takes time. I think I read in a study, it takes 21 days in order to get yourself in the habit of doing something consistently. But did you know it actually takes 18 months to make that habit stick? 18 months that you have to repetitively continue to do something before it becomes a true habit that you just can't get out of the habit of doing. That's a lot of time.
Be patient.
Be patient. But here, you know, here in America, and I don't know if it's just an American thing or if it's just a human nature thing, but we want instant gratification. I want to change, but I want to wake up tomorrow and be the new person. That's why everybody buys all the books. The top 10 steps on how to be successful. The top 10 steps on how to be a great leader. Top 10 steps on how to do this tomorrow. We buy into that. How I can buy real estate, no money down. I mean, we buy into that because we're not willing to take the time that it takes to build up the capital necessary to get into the real estate industry the right way. We are looking for instant gratification, but you cannot expect changes to come that quickly. And then on top of that, constant improvement and being committed to constant improvement, that clearly leads to higher self-esteem, higher self-confidence, and both of those are essential qualities to being successful. So let me give you an example of what I mean about this commitment to constant and never-ending improvement. You know, the average baseball player will have a batting average of 250. So for some of you out there to watch baseball, that means for every 4 times a baseball player goes to bat, he will hit it 1 time, or that should be his average. So a batting average of 250. Now a great baseball player will have a batting average of 300. Okay? Now that means for every 10 times they go to bat, they hit it 3 times. Now listen to that. According to the Major League Baseball standards, they consider an average player to have a score of 250 and a great player can have a score of 300. So at the end of a season, only about a dozen players will have achieved a 300 batting average. So clearly these are the guys that get the multi-million-dollar contracts, they get the endorsements, they get all the recognition and all the fame. But all this really means, when you break it down in the numbers, all this really means is the average player will hit 5 balls out of 20, and the great player will hit 6 balls out of 20. So the difference between an average player and a great one is only 1 hit out of every 20. So a little extra performance can go a long way to helping you go from being good to being great.